Some of the biggest celebrities on the planet have a secret. They're not on social media. No Instagram, no Twitter, no TikTok, nothing. We're talking about Oscar winners, box office legends, and global icons who could break the internet with one single photo, but choose to stay completely invisible online. So what do they know that the rest of us don't? Why are they protecting their lives so fiercely while the world keeps oversharing? Today we're revealing 12 famous stars who refuse to use social media, and their real reasons might genuinely change the way you scroll. Let's start with one of the biggest names in Hollywood. Brad Pitt. The man literally needs zero introduction, 60 plus years old, an Oscar winner, one of the most photographed humans on the planet, and yet no social media, nothing. Brad has said many times that he just doesn't see the point. He prefers real human interactions over digital ones. He doesn't feel the need to document his every move for strangers on the internet. And honestly, when you've already been on a million magazine covers, why would you need a Twitter account? Brad lives life the old way. He acts, he paints, he spends time with his children, he stays mysterious. And maybe that's exactly why people are still obsessed with him after 30 years in the business. Number 2 on the list is the legendary George Clooney. Now, George has actually given some of the most honest and hilarious reasons for staying off social media. He once said in an interview that if he ever opened an account, he might post something he'd later regret, especially after a sleeping pill or a glass of wine. He literally said, imagine waking up and the sentences don't even make sense. One wrong tweet in Hollywood can end careers, and George Clooney is way too smart to gamble with that. He also believes that fans don't need to know what celebrities are thinking every single second of every single day. For him, mystery is a part of being a star. And his wife Amal feels exactly the same way. They live a quiet, classy life away from the digital noise, and clearly it's working for them. Third on the list, the absolute Oscar-winning queen, Jennifer Lawrence. Jen has been a global superstar since the Hunger Games. She could have 100 million followers on Instagram in a heartbeat, but she has consistently refused. Her reason, in her own words, there is just too much backlash. Too many people listening, too many opinions about absolutely everything. She once said she doesn't want to put herself out there for no reason, and honestly, can you blame her? Jennifer learned the hard way how brutal the internet can be when her private photos were leaked back in 2014. After that nightmare, staying off social media wasn't just a preference. It was self-protection. And today, she's one of the most respected actresses in the world, doing it her own way. Fourth is Emma Stone, the La La Land star who is also missing from every major social media platform. Emma has been beautifully blunt about her reasons. She said social media just wouldn't be a positive thing for her. She's also been critical of Instagram, saying that it encourages people to pretentiously cultivate fake versions of their lives. Everyone showing only the best photos, the best angles, the best moments, while the real messy human parts of life get hidden. Emma chose the simpler path. She lives, she acts. She doesn't perform for the internet, and that quiet authenticity is one of the reasons fans love her so much. Number 5 is Scarlett Johansson, and her reason might be the most relatable of all. She tried Instagram for just 3 days, and during that time she found herself spending 20 minutes looking at the page of someone who worked for a friend of hers. She suddenly realized she now knew this random person had a pit bull, 2 daughters, and lived in Burbank. She felt like she was wasting her life inside a stranger's life. She said her ego was too fragile, her brain was too fragile, and that she was a delicate flower when it came to that kind of digital pressure, so she deleted everything. And she has never looked back. Honestly, after hearing that story, I think a lot of us can relate way more than we'd like to admit. Sixth on the list is the man who played the boy who lived, Daniel Radcliffe. After spending most of his childhood as the face of one of the biggest movie franchises ever, Daniel learned something important. He couldn't handle the level of public attention that came with being online. He has openly admitted that reading people's opinions about him on the internet would simply be too much for his mental health. He sometimes scrolls Twitter anonymously just to read news, but he stays completely invisible. No account, no posts, no comments. He once said he doesn't understand why anyone in his position would willingly invite that kind of scrutiny into their daily life. And honestly, that's a wise man speaking. Number 7 is Kristen Stewart, the Twilight star turned Oscar-nominated actress. Kristen has always been famously private. She has said in interviews that social media feels fake to her. People constantly performing for likes, validation, and approval. She doesn't want any part of it. She also said that the obsession with online validation simply doesn't sit right with her. Kristen has built one of the most interesting careers in Hollywood, picking strange, artistic, brave roles. And she's done it all while remaining beautifully unplugged from the internet machine. Number 8 is the funny, brilliant Tina Fey. The 30 rock star and one of the smartest comedians in modern entertainment, Tina has zero social media presence, and her reasons are very Tina Fey. She once said most people are honestly so boring that they should just stay quiet, that there should be a license required to use social media, and that she would gladly volunteer to be in charge of issuing those licenses. She told fans, just write it in a journal and mail it to your grandma. Classic Tina. But underneath the humor is a real point. Not everyone needs to share every thought with the entire planet. Sometimes the wisest thing is silence. Coming in at number 9 is the multi-talented Donald Glover. Wait, scratch that. Let me bring you a much more interesting name. The phenomenal Keira Knightley. The British star of Pirates of the Caribbean and Atonement actually opened a Twitter account back in 2009 to connect with fans. But within a very short time, she completely walked away. She told an interviewer that social media simply creeps her out. Since then, she has had zero digital presence. Keira values her privacy, her family, her artistic work. She doesn't need likes to feel like she matters. And in a world where most actresses depend on their Instagram following to land roles, Keira is doing it the old-fashioned way, by being absolutely brilliant at her craft. 10th on the list is Sandra Bullock, the Oscar-winning star of The Blind Side, Gravity, and Speed. Sandra has been beautifully honest about why she's not on social media. She says she would probably have one glass of rosé and start spouting off about everything she disagrees with on the internet. She also admitted she's just lazy when it comes to technology and doesn't want to be naive about it. But the deeper reason is what hits hardest. Sandra has said the comments people make about her actually affect her. So instead of opening herself up to that kind of constant pain, she has chosen peace. She also keeps her children far away from the digital chaos, and that decision speaks volumes. Number 11 on the list is Daniel Craig, the legendary James Bond himself. Daniel has confirmed many times that he has zero plans to ever join social media. As a man who played the most iconic spy in cinema history, he understands the value of privacy maybe better than anyone. He prefers staying home, keeping his feet on the ground, and avoiding the noise of fame. After playing 007, he could probably trend on Twitter every single day if he wanted to. But Daniel chose to be a real person first, a celebrity second, and finally, the 12th name on this list, the brilliant Emily Blunt. Star of A Quiet Place, Oppenheimer, and so many incredible films. Emily has joked that she avoids social media simply because she's not very good with technology. But beyond the joke, there's a real reason. Emily prefers to keep her private life private. She doesn't want her marriage, her children, her daily routines becoming content for strangers. She believes some moments are sacred and should never be turned into Instagram posts. In a culture that demands oversharing, Emily Blunt protects her family fiercely, and that's something worth admiring deeply. So there you have it, friends. Celebrities who have made a conscious decision to stay off social media. And when you really listen to their reasons, a clear pattern starts to emerge. Privacy, mental health, authenticity, protection, peace. They've all realized something most of us are still figuring out. That constant connectivity comes at a cost. Likes don't feed your soul. Followers don't make you happy. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in a noisy world is simply close the app and live your real life. Now here's the twist. None of these celebrities have lost their fame because they're not on social media. Brad Pitt is still Brad Pitt. Jennifer Lawrence still gets cast in major films. Emma Stone still wins Oscars. Daniel Craig still gets remembered as the greatest Bond. Their absence from social media hasn't hurt them. If anything, it's made them more interesting, more mysterious, more respected. They've proven something important to all of us, that you don't need a digital footprint to leave a real one. Now I want to hear from you. Has this video made you rethink your own social media habits? Are you considering taking a digital detox? Or do you think being on social media is actually necessary in today's world? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one, where we're going to talk about Hollywood stars who walked away from fame at the peak of their careers. Trust me, that list is going to surprise you. Until then, take care of your mind, protect your peace, and remember, the best moments in life don't always need to be posted. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.